In June 2023, the PGA Tour did something nobody saw coming. It sat down with the enemy.
But what we're talking about today is coming together to unify the game of golf.
After months of suspensions, lawsuits, and public warfare, after calling LIV Golf an existential threat,
that the PGA Tour will be dominated.
After comparing Saudi money to sports washing,
Or was it also the unspecified in amount Saudi investment that would come of it?
after more than 30 players were stripped of their membership for defecting, the tour shook hands with the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia and announced a framework agreement to unite professional golf under one roof.
Is coming together to unify the game of golf and to do so under one umbrella.
The golf world exhaled. The war was over, except it wasn't. As of February 2026, 2.5 years after that framework was signed, there is no deal. The framework agreement, which was signed on June 6, 2023, and confirmed by ESPN at the time, included a targeted deadline of December 31st, 2023 to finalize a full agreement. That deadline passed without a signature. In February 2025, PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan, Tiger Woods, and player director Adam Scott met at the White House for discussions that included PIF Governor Yasir Al-Rumayyan, all confirmed by ESPN. Those meetings produced a joint statement describing constructive discussions. Nothing further followed.
Jay, thank you very much for being here. Jay Monahan, head of the PGA, and we've had some interesting discussions.
The PGA Tour has since rejected the PIF's most recent offer to invest $1.5 billion into PGA Tour enterprises, as ESPN reported in April 2025. Two separate tours, two separate schedules. They share the same sport and have not agreed on a single structural thing. And while all of that was happening, while professional golf spent 3 years tearing itself apart, something else was quietly shifting. Something more important than the merger talks. Something that goes to the very heart of whether the PGA Tour still controls the direction of this game. Because here's the question, nobody is asking loudly enough. Even if the merger never happens, even if LIV fades, even if the Tour wins the ratings war, even if Scheffler and McIlroy keep filling screens on CBS and NBC every Sunday, is the PGA Tour actually in control of its own product? Or is it still reacting, still adapting, still being shaped by forces it didn't choose and didn't create? Stick with me, because the answer is more complicated than the headlines suggest. Let's define the terms. Because control in sport isn't just about who wins the ratings battle on a given Sunday. It's about who sets the agenda, who makes the decisions first, who dictates to whom. For most of the PGA Tour's history, the answer was simple. The Tour set the rules, the schedule, the purses, the eligibility, the world ranking criteria. Players took it or left it, and leaving it meant giving up the Masters, the US Open, the Open Championship, the PGA Championship. The threat of losing major access was the Tour's greatest weapon, and for decades it never needed to use it. Nobody tested it. Then LIV Golf arrived in 2022 with Saudi money and 9-figure signing bonuses. And the Tour's greatest weapon, its monopoly on the game's prestige, suddenly had a price tag attached to it. What happened next tells you everything about who is actually in control. Here is the most revealing number in the entire LIV versus PGA Tour debate. In 2022, before LIV Golf's full impact was felt, the PGA Tour's total prize money across 47 tournaments was $427 million. as confirmed by Golf Digest. The Players' Championship that year paid out $20 million, a figure the tour itself described at the time as historic and unprecedented for a stroke play event. Most tournaments sat between $8 and $12 million. By 2024, the picture had changed completely. The Tour Championship alone carried a $40 million purse, confirmed by ESPN in August 2025, when the tour announced the bonus pool would count as official money for the first time. The Players' Championship reached $25 million. The tour's total prize money for the 2022 to 2023 season crossed $560 million, a jump of more than $135 million in a single year. And at the top of the earnings table, Scottie Scheffler made $62.2 million in prize money and bonuses alone in 2024. That figure includes $29.2 million in official PGA Tour prize money, a record, plus $25 million for winning the FedEx Cup, and $8 million for leading the Comcast Business Tour Top 10. Now ask yourself, did the PGA Tour decide to do any of that because it wanted to, or did it do all of it because a rival with a sovereign wealth fund behind it forced its hand? Golf Digest answered that directly. In a piece examining the tour's $153 million injection into player payouts, it stated plainly the tour found the funds to accelerate planned purse increases and paid out more of its revenue as a percentage to players because of competition from LIV. And Jack Nicklaus, the greatest champion in the history of the game, confirmed the same thing himself, telling reporters at Augusta in April 2025, as ESPN reported, LIV Golf had forced the PGA Tour into doing some things that were a little premature. The signature events, the limited field, elevated purse tournaments that now define the top of the tour calendar, were created in direct response to LIV. Golf Digest confirmed in October 2022 that the tour was injecting $153 million into player payouts and creating 13 designated events with purses between $15 million and $25 million. That structure didn't exist before LIV arrived. The purse increases didn't happen before 2022. The restructuring didn't happen before players started taking phone calls from Saudi Arabia. LIV Golf has been losing the viewership war. On head-to-head Sundays in 2025, PGA Tour broadcasts on CBS and NBC averaged 3.1 million viewers compared to LIV's 175,000 on Fox and FS1, a ratio of nearly 18-to-1, confirmed by Golf.com's analysis of Nielsen data. LIV is not winning on television, but it has already permanently altered the economics of the sport it was supposedly failing to crack, and that is a form of influence that doesn't show up in any ratings report. Here is where the tour's situation looks strongest, and where context matters most. CBS Sports confirmed publicly in August 2025 that its PGA Tour coverage averaged 2.969 million viewers in 2025, the best CBS golf season since 2018, up 17% from 2024. NBC Sports confirmed 6 consecutive weeks of viewership increases on NBC and Peacock, with Sunday final rounds averaging 2.7 million viewers, up 13% from 2024. The Players' Championship peaked at 6.2 million viewers, confirmed by NBC Sports' own release. Front Office Sports confirmed signature events finished 2025 up 10.17% over comparable windows. Those are real numbers. The tour's product is healthy, its stars are compelling, but here is the context that makes those numbers honest rather than just impressive. As Golf.com and Sports Business Journal both reported, the PGA Tour's network partners suffered year-over-year drops of 15 to 17% across the 2024 season. One Golf Channel telecast in fall 2024 drew fewer than 76,000 viewers, as golf.com reported at the time. The 2025 rebound looks strong, partly because the baseline it is rebounding from was historically poor. And as Awful Announcing confirmed in its own analysis, when 2025 numbers are compared not to 2024, but to 2023, the last season before LIV's structural impact was fully felt, 10 of the tour's 13 final round broadcasts through the first half of 2025 were still down versus that earlier benchmark. The tour is recovering. The numbers confirm it. But recovery and arrival are not the same thing. There is also a slower threat that the Nielsen numbers don't fully capture. Golf's traditional audience skews older than almost any other major American sport. The next generation of fans, the ones growing up on YouTube, short-form content, and entertainment-first models, those fans are not yet locked into the PGA Tour's product the way their parents were. Whether they ever will be is a question the current ratings rebound doesn't answer. Here is the document that tells the most honest story about where LIV Golf actually stands. Every autumn, LIV Golf's UK registered arm files its annual accounts at Companies House, the United Kingdom's official government registry for business filings. These are public documents. In October 2025, the Financial Times, Front Office Sports, and Golf Monthly all reported on the most recent filing. What those accounts show is remarkable. In 2024, LIV Golf's UK international arm posted losses of $461.8 million against revenue of $64.9 million and expenses of $526.7 million. That followed losses of $395.9 million in 2023. Total cumulative international losses from this arm alone now exceed $1.1 billion since the league's inception, as confirmed by Front Office Sports, citing the Companies House filings directly. And the filing itself includes a note from directors acknowledging a material uncertainty which might cast significant doubt over the company's ability to continue without PIF support. That is auditor language. It means, without the Saudi fund, this company may not be able to meet its obligations. The PIF provided a formal letter of commitment. The league continues. LIV Golf Investments has now sold approximately $4.89 billion in shares to the PIF since launch. So here is the paradox the filing presents. LIV Golf is, by every conventional measure, a financially distressed operation, and yet the fund behind it keeps committing, in writing, formally, year after year. Not because LIV is profitable, but because it is strategically useful to a sovereign wealth fund for whom $4.89 billion represents a fraction of its total assets. That distinction matters because it means this isn't a business that needs to be profitable to survive. It needs to be useful, and as long as it forces the PGA Tour to keep reacting, to keep restructuring, to keep raising purses, to keep looking over its shoulder, it is useful. So is the PGA Tour losing control of professional golf? Here is the honest, sourced answer. The tour is not losing the battle it thought it was fighting. On television, on prestige, on the majors, on the week-to-week competitive product. It is winning clearly. LIV is not threatening to replace the PGA Tour as the home of the best players in the world on those measures. That story is settled. But the PGA Tour is no longer the unchallenged architect of its own sport. Its schedule, its economics, and its power structure were permanently redrawn by a competitor it couldn't suppress. It raised purses it had no plan to raise. It created events it had no plan to create. It restructured its entire prize money architecture in reaction to a rival drawing 1/18th of its television audience. And it did all of it because a league confirmed to be losing over $400 million a year made those changes necessary. That is not losing, but it is not the kind of control the tour had before June 2022 either. Jack Nicklaus called those changes premature. Golf Digest called them a direct response to LIV. The tour's own financial history confirms both. The PGA Tour controls the scoreboard, the leaderboard, the 4 major championships, the next generation of stars, but it no longer controls the pace of the game. And that, more than any ratings number or merger negotiation, is the truest measure of what has shifted in professional golf. If it reclaims that control, if it locks in the next generation of fans, if its stars become unmissable week after week, if the financial filings at Companies House one day stop showing 9-figure losses with PIF commitments attached, then we will look back at this era as the moment the tour was tested and came out stronger. If it doesn't, then the real threat was never Saudi Arabia. It was complacency. If you want more content like this, the documents, the numbers, and the forces beneath the leaderboard that actually shape the game you love, subscribe to Legacy Wedges. The game is changing. Let's make sure we understand how.